Is it possible to rewrite human memory? Can the very fabric of a person's mind be unraveled and rewoven? In the 1950s, a secret government agency launched a classified program to find out. Their goal was to understand the absolute limits of the human mind and whether it could be controlled. This project, known in the annals of history as Project MKUltra, remains one of the most controversial chapters in modern intelligence. Today, we're diving into declassified files, piecing together the facts, exploring the cover-ups, and examining the deep mystery that still surrounds this operation. The story begins during the height of the Cold War. Tensions between global superpowers were at an all-time high, and a silent, psychological war was being waged behind the scenes. Reports began to surface that opposing nations were using advanced psychological techniques on captured soldiers, seemingly turning them into compliant agents. In 1953, they authorized a top-secret research program, granting it a virtually unlimited budget and almost no oversight. His mission was twofold. First, to discover methods to protect the human mind from external influence, and second, to explore the far more disturbing question of whether a mind could be reprogrammed. This second objective would lead the project down a dark and ethically ambiguous path. The project began testing a wide array of chemical substances and psychological procedures. Researchers were particularly interested in certain compounds they believed could drastically alter a person's perception of reality, lower their inhibitions, and make them more susceptible to suggestion. But as the research progressed, the ethical lines became dangerously blurred in a sub-project chillingly codenamed Operation Midnight Climax. The agency set up observation posts in major cities like San Francisco and New York. These were called safe houses, but they were anything but. Behind two-way mirrors, agents watched as individuals, often citizens who had no idea they were part of an experiment, were unknowingly administered these experimental compounds. The goal was to study the raw, unfiltered effects of these substances on human behavior in a real-world setting. These tests were conducted on a diverse range of people, from willing volunteers to unwitting participants, raising profound questions about consent and medical ethics that haunt the program's legacy to this day. Of all the stories to emerge from the shadows of MKUltra, none is more tragic or mysterious than that of Frank Olson. Olson was a U.S. Army scientist and bacteriologist who worked on the project. In November 1953, he attended a secret retreat with several of his colleagues. There, as part of an internal experiment, he and others were unknowingly given a dose of a powerful hallucinogenic agent. In the days that followed, Olson's behavior changed dramatically. He became deeply distressed, anxious, and paranoid. His superiors, concerned by his deteriorating state, arranged for him to be taken to New York City for psychiatric assistance. But just 9 days after the initial exposure, a tragedy occurred. Frank Olson fell to his death from the window of his 13th floor hotel room. For years, his death was officially ruled as an accident or a personal tragedy. But the story didn't end there. Decades later, his family's persistence led to new investigations. But questions lingered. Was he trying to leave the program? Did he know too much? The circumstances surrounding his final moments remain one of the most debated and unsettling mysteries of the entire MKUltra saga. The project's reach wasn't confined to the United States. In Montreal, Canada, a renowned psychiatrist named Dr. Ewan Cameron conducted a series of intensive psychological experiments, partially funded by the same intelligence agency. Dr. Cameron was developing a method he called psychic driving. This radical procedure aimed to erase troubling memories and replace them with new, positive ones. The process was extreme. Patients, many of whom had checked in for common issues like anxiety, were subjected to a barrage of treatments. They were often put into a sleep-like state for weeks or even months at a time. During this period, repetitive audio messages were played on a continuous loop through speakers placed under their pillows. The goal was to depattern the brain and then reprogram it. The results were not what was hoped for. Instead of being cured, many patients suffered devastating consequences, including permanent amnesia, a loss of basic skills, and profound emotional trauma. This Canadian chapter of the story serves as a horrific example of good intentions paving a road to ruin. By the early 1970s, the political climate in America was shifting. Journalists and congressional committees began investigating abuses of power within government intelligence agencies. Fearing exposure, the sitting director of the agency, Richard Helms, gave a fateful order in 1973: destroy all documents related to Project MKUltra. The vast majority of the files, detailing over 2 decades of secret research, were shredded and burned, seemingly erasing the program from history. For a moment, it seemed the full story would never be known, but a crucial mistake was made. In 1977, a routine Freedom of Information Act request uncovered a cache of around 20,000 pages of financial records that had been misfiled and overlooked during the purge. These budgetary documents, while not detailing the experiments themselves, provided a money trail. They allowed investigators in what became known as the Church Committee to piece together the astonishing scale of the operation, linking payments to doctors, universities, and front organizations, finally exposing the sprawling network of MKUltra to a shocked and outraged public. Project MKUltra was officially shut down in 1973. Its legacy is a dark and cautionary tale about unchecked power and the critical importance of maintaining strict ethical boundaries in both science and government. It highlights what can happen when the pursuit of knowledge or security is allowed to eclipse our fundamental human values. Today, we live in a world of advanced technology, social media algorithms, and sophisticated digital influence. The methods may have changed, but the core concept of influencing the human mind feels more relevant than ever. It forces us to ask, has the spirit of this project simply evolved into a new digital form? What are your thoughts on this disturbing piece of history? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into the stories they don't always teach you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.